Alright, so today what I'm going to show you is a 5-step charcoal value, flat value scale. So this is something you're just going to do on a regular piece of copy paper, and we're going to use it for an activity in class. So I have a piece of paper. I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to fold it in half one more time. So I have it ready to go. Now what you can do is you can actually share this piece of paper with your neighbor. So I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm just going to cut it in half. So each piece of paper I can actually make 2 value scales from. The reason, I'll show you in a little bit why I prefer to do it this way rather than on a single strip, is just so when you have it and use it later, it's not completely messy. This does not have to be perfect, perfect, perfect. This can be just quickly done, but the reason that we're going to be making this is so we can kind of do a treasure hunt for values around the room. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am just going to draw a horizontal line with a regular pencil straight across, and then I am going to divide this into about equal spaces. So I need 5 of them. It's a little tricky. So I'm just going to go really lightly at first. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not too bad. So I'm looking at each one of those as being about the same size. Again, this doesn't have to be the best craftsmanship you've ever used in your life before. And then I'm going to label these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to make a value scale from white to light, medium dark to dark using charcoal. So these are the charcoals that I have ready to use. I have a compressed charcoal. It's just a stick of compressed charcoal. I have a vine charcoal. I have a blending tool or blending stump. And then I have an eraser. I actually don't think I'm going to need the eraser, but we'll see. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my vine charcoal, and this one is actually too big for the space that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to kind of snap it in half here. I'm going to put this up and down, and now I'm going to use the side. So vine charcoal is better for these lighter values, and it is going to be helpful. It's also a lot softer. So now I'm going to use either my fingers, and I do like to do a lot of blending with my fingers. Some people don't like to do that, so they like their blending stump. I find the blending stump, and you might be able to see already, does not give me as flat and even. The other thing you could use is just a dry paintbrush. So, getting it all the way blended in there. All right, next I'm going to go to my stick of compressed charcoal. Again, this is too large for the area, so now I'm just applying it into the 3, 4, and 5 areas. So I'm going to be using layers to make each one of these just a little bit darker. This might be something that it's going to be hard to see the difference between the values, and if that's the case, we might have to use that eraser to go and lighten some areas. So there is quite a bit of charcoal dust sitting there. What I like to do is just tap it. Now I'm going to add another layer just on the 4 and 5, and again. And I'm kind of reusing some of that charcoal dust to get into the areas. And now I'm just going to the 5. So this is one of the cases that I was talking about earlier. I can't really tell the difference between 4 and 5. So what I'm actually going to have to do is I think I'm going to have to lighten my 3 and my 4. So I'm going to take that kneaded eraser that I have, And I'm going to just really lightly dab it. I can drag it a little bit, and that looks like it's a pretty good value, but it's not quite even, so I'm going to try to even it out. So here again, I don't have a really good difference between those, so I'm going to take my eraser, and to clean that kneaded eraser, I am going to knead it and fold it back on itself. That's why it's a kneaded eraser. So now this one, I feel like I've erased it almost so it's the same value as that one. So I'm going to go back and make sure flat value scale, you can see the difference between those steps. That's the point. We want to be able to have a full value between white, light, medium, medium dark, and then dark. And it's a little difficult to see the difference. There, that's probably a little bit better. So you need a 5-step charcoal flat value scale to do our activity in class.